Amen. Amen. Chazak uvarok. Good morning, everyone. Mincha Arvit this afternoon. Bezat Hashem. We at 5:22 Arvit at 9 o'clock. We'd like to thank Torah Anytime. Today is Gimel Tevet Tavshin Pei Gimel. Today is the Yatzai of many tzaddikim and tzidkaniyot. Most notably that Rabbi Chaim Leben, Rabbi Alter Levi Shmulevitz, Rabbi Chaim Shmulevitz, who is known for his very brilliant shiurim, as well as his very famous Sichat Musar. People do not know this, but his sefer that came out, which became a worldwide hit, even to this day, every Dvar Torah that he has on the parasha is a grand slam. It's kedai for you to look at Sichat Musar. And that actually was done as a rachmanut. He felt very bad that there were some people, they said that his shiurim and Gemara were so deep and so brilliant, they're so amazing, that people used to go for that. But there were some people that they didn't understand so well, but they wanted on Chumash. So asked Reb Chaim Shmulevitz, could you give us a shiur on Chumash? He said, okay, fine, if you want that, I'll do that. So for 3 years, he gave a shiur on that, and he became that just because he wanted to be nice to other people. And what you see from that is that when you're nice and you extend yourself from others, that becomes your MO, so your modus operandi. So it's an unbelievable thing, a very, very powerful idea. Also, it's the outside of Rabbi Yaakov and Rabbi Shaul Katzin. He was the Rav and the Rav Arashi of the Syrian community in New York, as well as our dear friend Meir's mother, Miriam ben Bat and Nana Saida, and Bezat Hashem, all the Divrei Torah that we have today, Shabilu Nishmatam Bezat Hashem. We discussed previously the idea of halachot, when it comes specifically to brachot, of different items. So many people they're a little confused when it comes to different brachot, whatever they may be, about what bracha is the proper bracha for them to make. So for example, you're blocking the view, right? So for example, if a person were to, let's say, take sugar cane, and the sugar cane that they were to crack it open, and they were to now eat fresh sugar cane after you crack it open, what bracha do you make on that? So the Yakut Yosef says, on sugar cane, since it grew from the ground, potentially you say it's borei pri adama. But he says, no, it's not. It's actually borei pri ha'etz. Because a sugar cane lasts from season to season. It's there for a very long time. And the definition halachically of a tree is something that lasts from year to year. So for example, a blueberry bush, although it grows only a couple centimeters high, sometimes maybe a foot or two, it's not that high. In the eyes of halacha, it's a midget tree. And therefore it's a tree, so you make on blueberries borei pri ha'etz. But you look at a banana trees could grow up, you can see here in Florida, you see many different banana trees that could grow up to 30, 20 feet tall, very, very tall. But that's adama. Why? Because the shoot that comes out of it immediately dies after it gives forth the banana. It doesn't last from year to year, so therefore it's a borei pri adama. So now, a sugar cane, since it lasts for a very long time, it's technically, says Yakut Yosef, o borei pri ha'etz. Because when you crack it open, it's the pri ha'etz. It's the fruit of this tree. So therefore you would make, if you were to take raw sugar cane, crack it open, borei pri ha'etz. However, if you were to take, let's say, a little thing of sugar, a scoop of sugar, you make a she'akol. Why, says Yakut Yosef? Because that's a little different. He brings from the Redvaz that processed sugar, the way that it's made is they actually cook it in a lot of water, and between the water and all the different other ideas that they say that they wash it and cleanse it, etc., it now basically it has a lot of water that's residual in it, and therefore as a result of that you make a she'akol. So people do not know that. They think when you look at a cup of sugar, right, you make a she'akol. Of course, pashut. It's not so pashut, because according to some, if you were to take a live sugar cane, crack it open, you make a borei pri ha'etz, because that's the pri ha'etz. However, a cup of sugar or processed sugar, one were to make a she'akol specifically in that case. We say in the emet v'yatziv, we say HaKadosh Baruch Hu v'kayam v'yashav v'ne'aman etc., etc., all those different things. Why do we say that? So says the Chavetz Chaim in Shem Olam, he says, because right after you Mekabel Ol Malchut Shemayim, you said Kriyat Shema, the greatest affirmation of HaKadosh Baruch Hu, we say not only that, Emet v'yatziv v'kayam v'yashar, we're saying all these different things to say, Hashem, you stand by who you are, so we should at least be just as loyal to you as you are to us. And now we're getting ourselves ready for Shemona Esrei, then now we get to talk to the king. Now that we know, Kaviyachol, HaKadosh Baruch Hu has the credentials that we say that he's always been for us, we're Mekabel Ol Malchut Shemayim, now we're able to talk to him, when it comes to Emet v'yatziv. Just two more ideas where this will conclude. For people who are doing Daf Yomi, get on the train now because we're finishing up Nidarim, and we're going to be making a Siyum, Be'ezat Hashem, in a few weeks, so just make sure you're on that train. You could be Mistayim in Nidarim as well. So a very famous question that asks is, excuse me, what's the difference between a neder and a shavua? A neder is a promise, a shavua is to swear. It sounds like they're the same thing. So what's the difference between the two? So the very famous Tzaran that says, the Ran in Nidarim tells us that when it comes to neder, it's ifsur chevtza. That this item, although for everyone else is totally fine, but I decide this item is no good. So it's sort of like you're allergic to that item. That item, I'm not going to have anything. A shvua is not that the item, it's me, there's something wrong with me. I'm saying there's something wrong with that. So a neder is for a chefza, however shvua is on the gavra. Now what would be like this? Let's say, I say, you know, that woman over there, I'm so upset at her, I'm making a neder, I'm never going to get married to her. Ever. She's out. Then a guy walks over and says, what did you just say? He said, I made a neder, I'm never getting married to that woman over there. He says, you fool, do you know who that woman is? You say, the virtues of that woman. Go, oh my gosh, what a mistake, right? So now the halacha is, if you make a neder, you need at least 3 chachamim, or at least one chacham who's someone who's a baki. He could somehow get you out of that and get out of your entanglement and get you out of there. Be matir neder. But until they're matir neder, you're sort of stuck. You can't be married to her because you said, if sarchefza, she's asur to me. So you ready for this one? So what do? I'm a little bit of a lamdan. What do? I go over to my good friend. I say, hey, Tzion, can you do me a favor? See that woman over there? Here, give her $5 and say, I'm giving the $5 on behalf of Rabbi Sova to be mikudeshet to you. And she goes, oh my gosh, Rabbi Sova, oh, I'm so honored, thank you. She picks up the $5. Now, the question is, I already said she's asur to me, but Tzion, who did it on behalf of me, maybe he's okay. He's okay. He could be mikudeshet to her. Why? But he's doing it on behalf of me. So here you have a very interesting scenario, as says the Ketzot, and say Machne Ephraim, no Yehuda, and Makneh. All of them, they say, technically now, is she mekudeshet or not? Because on one hand, I said she's asur to me. But on the other hand, I gave it through a shaliach. So if I give it through a shaliach, maybe that's okay. So that would be a very, very interesting she'elah that they have. Based on that, how a neder works, does it work completely forbids me in all scenarios? Or if I give it to a shaliach, that would somehow be a loophole that she would be mekudeshet to me or not. Nafkamina, again, is if he gives it to her, then afterwards another guy goes over and says, Sova's such a fool, well, whatever, I'll be mekudeshet to you, and I'll be married to you. Are you allowed to do that or not? That would be nafkamina lalacha. Just to conclude with this idea, a very powerful idea. The Lubavitcher Rebbe says a beautiful idea. He says in Shlishi that when Yosef and Binyamin, they saw each other, Vayev kal tzavarav, they both cried on each other's necks. So on Yosef, it says he cried on Yosef's necks, plural. And when it says when he cried on Binyamin, it said he cried on his neck, singular. Why is that? Says Rashi, brings from the Midrash, that each one saw Beracha HaKodesh, there's going to be a very big destruction that's going to happen. Binyamin saw that in the future, Yosef is going to have Mishkan Shiloh, it's going to be destroyed. Shiloh was in the property of Yosef. So he cried on one side of his neck, referring to the one destruction of Shiloh. However, Yosef saw that in Binyamin, where the Beit HaMikdash is located, between Binyamin and Yehuda, he saw there was going to be 2 Batei Mikdashot that were going to be destroyed. So he cried on both sides of his neck. First Beit HaMikdash, second Beit HaMikdash. Okay? So now, here's the question. Ask Rabbi Sherav, he says, wait a second. If each one saw Beracha HaKodesh, that the other one was going to have a destruction, what about themselves? He should be, wait a second. I'm going to get, Binyamin should be like, oh my gosh, I'm going to get 2 destructions. And Yosef's going to be like, wait a second, I'm going to get 1 destruction. So what about yourself? He says, such an unbelievable idea. He says, for your friend, you have to move mountains, you have to cry, you have to pray. That you could actually achieve results. But for yourself, just to sit there and cry, oh, destruction, what am I going to do? Put my hands up in the air? That's not proper behavior. He says, to cry about yourself, that's nothing to do. What are you going to do about that? You got to do action. It's not enough just to cry. You got to do action. But for your friend, at least you could cry. At least show empathy. At least show that you're there for your friend. Such a powerful idea. That for your friend, you could go to the next level. For yourself, it's not enough just to cry. You got to do action. So that's the idea as well. If you see something, say something. Always say, do something for other people. HaKadosh Baruch Hu should bless every single one of us. That we should have opportunities to help one another. And Be'ezrat Hashem, we should be mechazek one another in all efforts that we do. Rabbi Chanani ben Akasha Omer, Etzah HaKadosh Baruch Hu, L'zakot Ed Yisrael, Lefikach HaBalam Torah.